Hi everyone, welcome to Buckle Up Podcast. I'm Natalia Earl and I'm a certified business and life coach that loves talking to people. I'm fascinated by humans and how our brain works. What is it that makes a decision good or bad, and how does that decision ultimately shape our path and destiny? Everyone loves to talk about success, but what about the flip side? How about adversity? Failure is such a big and often necessary part of life, and it's simply unavoidable. So I invite you to join me on this inspiring, honest, unpolished interview show with breathtakingly real conversations that go deep on setbacks and hardships that are part of the puzzle that ultimately lead to growth, discovery of inner greatness, and what makes us resilient. Grab your helmet and buckle up, people. It's going to be a bumpy ride. But what a ride it will be. Today's guest, Priscilla Grace Barnes, is a registered nurse, personal trainer, and nutritional coach. Priscilla's purpose is to help busy individuals navigate the road to health and wellness by creating healthy, sustainable habits. As a nurse, she's seen the pain that accompanies neglecting your well-being. As a caregiver for her father, she's seen the heartbreak and horror that accompanies heart disease. In her personal life, Priscilla has felt the frustration of seeking answers in healthcare and leaving empty-handed. Her own health struggles led her to pursue hair tissue mineral analysis, which is a key part to her practice today. These scenarios have created a greater drive for her to help others take action today for a healthier tomorrow. Preventative medicine is key. There is hope for everyone to have the life they want. It is her passion to share this hope with others by taking the stress out of hitting their health and wellness goals. Priscilla is based in Houston, Texas, where she sees clients virtually and in person. What is hair tissue mineral analysis?
So a hair tissue mineral analysis is something that very few people have probably heard of, right? So I hadn't heard of it when I found it, but what it does is it takes the first inch of growth off of someone's hair, and then we send it to a lab. And what it can tell us, because your hair is really a tissue, right? It is reflective of kind of like a 3-month process of what's been going on inside your body. The comparison between that and blood work, like we see in the hospital setting or at your doctor's visits, right? That blood work is what it is right then. So think about like if you do a finger stick, right, to check your blood glucose levels. We know in that moment your blood sugar level is X. The cool thing about a hair tissue mineral analysis is it shows us kind of like a moving target. It shows us a snapshot of what's been going on inside someone's body. And some of the top things it looks at are obviously minerals. It also can show us toxic elements, toxic metals. And then another really cool aspect is that minerals all work in kind of this interesting relationship with each other. There's some that
so interesting. So what happens if one colors their hair? Just because I do mine every 3 weeks
absolutely
because I have
Who
a lot
doesn't?
of gray hair.
Yes. So what I like my clients to do is we end up just letting it grow out 4 weeks since their previous hair coloring. So it's always time. And really, ideally, most people who color their hair do it regularly, right? So just before the next one, closer to before they get it rehighlighted or colored, I have them take a sample, and we end up taking samples. I think a lot of people think it's like a huge chunk. It's very small, but we do little samples from different parts of the hair, and then we only use like the first 1 inch of growth.
Okay. What happens if you're bald? Like you're a bald man?
So yes, people end up doing beards. You can do beards, hair. You can actually do like underarm hair, things like that. And there's actually
once you submit the hair, how long does the process take, and what does the test actually show? Will it show all the minerals and toxins or in the first testing? Okay.
So to get the results, it usually takes anywhere from like 3 to 6 weeks to get the results back. And then with my clients, I do a one-on-one Zoom call and we go through the interpretation. And really it shows us it shows us the same minerals and toxic elements as it does on every retest. So we look at the same things, and it looks at really the most important are what are called the macro minerals. So we're talking calcium, magnesium, potassium, and sodium. And those are really kind of the most imperative ones to make sure in a good balance, and then other things kind of fall in line. But yeah, it covers all the minerals.
Okay. And once, let's say, you discover the deficiency of something, do you treat that with vitamins or nutrition, or how does that work?
For me personally, I like to pursue food sources first for
Mhm.
most minerals. And then unfortunately, it just is what it is. Usually most people need supplementation of some way, shape, or form. That kind of takes second priority. A lot of people, with my nutritional consulting and working with clients with kind of stress management of getting healthy, we find that there's other lifestyle changes that we can make right before supplementing. That being said, I myself have had to supplement, right? And
Mhm.
it is what it is. We unfortunately some of us can't get everything we need to from our food sources. So some extra.
Yes. And in your practice and throughout the experience working with clients, um, what did you find? How do mineral imbalances occur?
I think a lot of it can be taken back to two things. One is stress.
Mhm.
Stress affects our bodies in ways that I don't think that we fully comprehend. And what happens with stress is it can impede our body's absorption of minerals, and we end up burning through minerals at an alarming rate. Um, and then two is also a lot of us eat healthy, but we don't eat right, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. So, there's not one, in my opinion, one specific right way to do it, but there are some underlying truths for all of us. And sometimes our habits or stress or whatever prevents us from getting adequate nutrition. And
Why is it important to test minerals?
for me, my eyes have been opened to their effect on so many aspects of health and wellness. So, something that's near and dear to my heart is heart health. So,
Mm.
preventing things like heart disease, stroke, high blood pressure. And there's a lot of interesting research studies that show that high calcium in the hair is associated with a higher risk of cardiovascular disease. And when you think about it, it doesn't sound so outside of left field, because one of the things that leads to high blood pressure, heart disease, is this plaque buildup in the arteries. And so if someone has high levels of calcium in their hair, in their soft tissues, what's going on inside their arteries?
Right.
It's plaque building up. And that's actually one of the top things that I see too is high calcium levels. We're told many times you got to supplement with calcium, supplement with calcium. And a lot of people actually have it hanging out in their soft tissues, like their hair, rather than where it should be in our bones and teeth. And so those types of things can cause heart disease down the road. Low magnesium can cause heart disease. Potassium was something that was game changer for me. And it revealed I was extremely deficient in potassium, and that's important in energy levels and absorption of other minerals. And then another reason it's important with the hair tissue mineral analysis are these ratios that we look at actually tell us about adrenal health, how someone metabolizes glucose, and other aspects of their life that might need some really like tender loving care, really. And so I find it important for that. And also, if you've been trying to find results through the normal medicinal route and you're not getting answers, I found that it's been a good route for that as well.
Yes. And we also don't realize how many toxins we are surrounded by, right? The
Yes.
toxins are in
Hmm.
the air, in our food, in some of the products that we use on our
Absolutely.
skin or on our hair. And when I was doing research about HTMA, I found about IUDs that are
Yes.
copper
Oh
IUDs.
my
So
gosh.
talk
Yes.
to me about that a little bit.
So copper toxicity is extremely prevalent. I actually found that on my own, or on my own HTMA. And you got to be real careful with it. Copper is necessary, right? It's not like you don't need copper, you just need it in the right balance. So what ends up happening is women with IUDs who have this copper in their body can actually create copper toxicity. And that in and of itself can cause a host of problems, right? And but it doesn't have to come from an IUD. I mean, like, think about old pipes. A lot of pipes for water have copper in them. A lot of us cook with, or people cook with, like copper utensils and all those kind of things. So